hello, and welcome back for more Twin Peaks. This is so exciting. Twin Peaks: The Return, Season 3. Well, Season 3, The Return. We're
I
up to
think it's just exciting that we returned.
Yep. They've done 7 episodes so far, and I've been promising them something's going to happen real soon now, every single episode.
Was this that episode? No, that's next episode, right?
Aiden's
this
when he thinks
episode.
he's going to lose us.
things happened this episode. Things
Finally.
definitely happened this episode. So there's definitely...
I did not hate this episode, quote.
Yeah, and that was, and I took that as telling everybody, Katie liked this episode.
Not only did you take it that way, you told multiple people that on separate occasions.
Yep, Katie loved it.
Yeah. Katie said she loved it, actually. She thought it was the best episode ever.
That's not what not hate means.
Pretty sure it is, Katie.
But I did tell you guys some more dots are going to start to get connected, so I hope you guys can see some of the lines are getting connected now. We'll talk about the next episode at the end of this, though. That's going to be the struggle one. All right, so as usual, I'm just... Oh, actually, sorry. Katie, did you want to talk now about the thing that you really liked about this episode? And because I just want to know if it's what I think it is.
Oh, I want to know what you think it is.
I think that it's Laura Dern saying "fuck you" to everyone, especially when she says to Tammy, "What's your
I
name?"
didn't even notice that one.
And she says, "Tammy." She says, "Fuck you, Tammy."
Oh, yeah. No, I liked that we got a bit more... I think. Oh, God. I've watched it so long ago, but
I
I
remember
think
now.
it was just that we got a bit more resolution around Cooper and Bob Cooper and Dougie Cooper.
Oh yeah, we learned a
People are
lot.
just starting to notice things. Like, they're just kind of like they went back to that story instead of all the other.
All right, well that's pretty early on in the episode. Oh, sorry,
My favourite bit was when they called Benjamin Horn Ben.
Me too.
I didn't enjoy that. I'll be honest.
I loved it.
And in my notes, I
Ben
still
is
call him
looking old.
Benjamin. Okay, I'll get started because a lot of that stuff about the end of season 2 is actually at the very beginning of this episode. So we open on Jerry in the woods. He looks like he's freaking out.
It took me a while to recognize who it was. To be honest,
actually
it was when he called his brother. That was when I realized
Same.
who it was.
He looked like he was just someone on alone tapping out, is what he looked like. He'd been in the woods too long, couldn't take it anymore. Time to use the emergency.
So what's that show that you guys watch about the people
alone?
She just said.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch it. Sorry, yeah.
I was like, oh, Benjamin and
But
fucking
also,
Jerry.
it was last episode, whatever, that he was watching somebody's live stream on their phone. He couldn't have been that far out into the woods and still have reception.
Well, maybe the
gonna
internet's
die.
just better in America. Okay.
But then he could use his phone to find his way home. So yeah, he's high as a kite.
It's obviously before they introduced that whole GPS thing, come and save me sort of thing that Apple did. Okay, so I wrote here, I think he's had one too many brownies. He calls Benjamin. Apparently, so there's a whole thing here. So he starts by saying, I think someone stole my car. He says he's high and that he doesn't know where he is. And it's just one of those annoying conversations where Benjamin is just basically saying everything that he says to him back. And it's just like, what is the point of this conversation exactly?
Yeah, it goes for like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're finally on board with what is the point of this.
No, I said conversation. I didn't say this.
No, I didn't. No, I don't mean. I mean like jump because there's always parts in the episode where we're like, oh, what the hell is happening? Like, why are we watching a man sweep for 3 years?
No, I totally.
That conversation.
Most of the time that you guys mention this, I'm on board. I mean, I totally get it, and it is like we've been trained to need that shot of something happening within every like minute or so, and if we don't get it, oh, this is boring, let's change the channel or something.
That's what a story is, Ben. Things happen in an order, and then there's a resolution.
Okay, I'll continue on Sean's note.
Being inflicted on us. Yeah.
We cut to Hawk and Sheriff Truman are going over the notes, which we found at the end of the last episode in the cubicle door. So it's confirmed that these are the missing pages of Laura Palmer's diary, and we actually find out this is 3 of the 4 missing pages. So there's still one more that we don't know about. So it's all the notes are all talking about Annie and Dale Cooper, remembering Laura never met Dale Cooper.
And she wrote about
Also-
it. Yeah.
So it was the dream.
Just on the diary, those pages were also torn out in the version they published.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so the diary finishes before we get to these pages.
Cool. Okay. So the hold on. So apparently they say it was Leland who hid the pages because they noted that Laura knew it was Leland. Because he probably
yeah.
read that. Actually, if I remember correctly, he actually does in Firewalk with Me. He reads her diary and sees it, and he rips the pages out.
Well, if only
Oh,
someone had
someone
found
else
these
did that.
pages in the toilet door earlier, they could have saved us a fair bit of time in season.
In season 2,
one,
yeah.
two.
Just imagine all the stuff that could have happened in season 2 rather than everything that did happen.
Yeah. None of
Um,
that stupid James storyline. We wouldn't have gotten that. That would have been axed.
That would have been good to lose that. Yeah. They go over
And
the
then we wouldn't have understood any of season 3 without that context.
That's true.
Yeah.
James been really prevalent in this season, so I'm glad they did
Yeah.
all of that work for him. in season
Yeah,
2.
character building, definitely.
Yeah.
They go over the sequence of events of what happened at the end of season 2 and after that, when Cooper and Annie were taken. So apparently Cooper left town shortly after the events of season 2. They mentioned that.
What happened to Annie?
I don't think that they go
They
into.
told us, yeah.
I can tell you that I watched something on YouTube that had a lot of scenes that were cut from Firewalk with Me that had a lot to do with what happened with Annie at the end of season 2. But apparently she's fine. So
Okay.
so they decide.
Anything?
Sorry, what's that?
Not traumatized or anything?
I reckon she's probably a bit traumatized. Sheriff Truman calls Harry to discuss what had happened, but decides not to ask him about it because Harry's not doing so well. Then we cut to Andy talking to someone about their truck, and this is the truck that ran the kid over in the last episode. So Andy knows that's the
Oh,
truck.
That's what it was. Okay. Sorry.
Oh,
Andy
that's
is
what I was on
so.
board with. I understood what was happening.
Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah, and he's talking to a suspect.
and this guy is
That's
so
basically-
sus. He's
Very
Yeah.
sus. Owns the van. And then he's like,
I
"Oh, that's
took
fine.
it
You
as-
meet me in 2 hours in this secluded location. Okay, I'll trust you. I'll see you there."
Yeah.
I kind of took it though as though he had nothing to do with it, and he was being watched. and
Yeah,
couldn't
it
say.
definitely seemed like he was scared or like
But
really, really
obviously-
nervous.
I think he was on some drugs that were making him think people were watching him.
So yeah, they like Sean said, Andy agrees to meet the guy in 2 hours. And the guy's basically begging him, please leave. Back at Sheriff Truman, and he's on the phone with Doc Hayward. And I put in brackets here, which is probably gonna ring a bell. I guess they're not going to address the stuff that happened at his house with Benjamin at the end of season 2.
I don't remember. Remind me.
It was all about Laura's.
Hit his head. Doc Hayward sort of like threw him to the ground, and he hit his head on the corner of the coffee table. Did you?
Oh yeah, and we
that's it.
thought he was
Yeah,
dead.
they had a
Oh,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all forgot about that. Yeah, and it's like, don't worry about that. It's all in the past. Don't worry.
I
Oh,
made
Ben's
up.
clearly all right.
Or is he?
Mhm.
Sheriff Truman. Oh, and so yeah, so this is a weird part. So Doc Hayward agrees to go on a Skype with Sheriff Truman, and Sheriff Truman pulls a lever on his desk, and this monitor comes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like
Very high tech.
Yes, but for a man who types with 2 fingers, he's yes.
Yeah. So they get on Skype, and sure enough, it is Doc Hayward. They talk about
I
Cooper
did
some
not
more,
recognize him.
about how he took him to the hospital to get checked out, but then
And how he checked himself
when
out.
he was doing rounds, he saw him coming out of the ICU, all dressed, and apparently Annie had been in the ICU. And that was the last anyone saw of him. We cut to the officer who has arrived at the police station in South Dakota. That's the military officer. I forget her name. Does anybody remember?
Nope.
I think it started with
Can't
Cindy.
Maybe
But
it was
anyway,
this different one.
I stopped
just about
learning names
Cindy.
after
It was
everyone
Cindy.
started dying.
I remember now.
She's the only woman who doesn't sort of swing her hips or sort of just look at the camera seductively.
That's clearly why I don't remember her name, Michael.
Or play music over the top of her. Yeah.
So she's arrived. Where was I? Sorry. She arrives
Talking about their
at
hips.
Buckhorn, South Dakota, at the police station. She wants to see the prince, and that's when we come to realize that her expectation was that they've just drawn prints from some surface, but actually, she finds out no, we've got a body. She's pretty shocked that they've got a body. Next shot, she's seen the body and notices it has no head. She finds out that it's the body is in its late 40s and that the person died about 5 days ago. So obviously there's the whole, well, how is he in his late 40s?
And he should be.
And he only
going
died
through
5 days
pregnancy.
ago. How does that work
Time
exactly?
travel.
Yeah, so I
Time
just assumed
travel
it was
through
the
the
major,
tunnels.
but it's not the major because he was older than that.
Yeah, so that they actually discussed that. So she calls her boss, telling him everything, and mentions that whole, and they have the conversation about how he would have been 70 something. That's impossible, but she says, well, it's the body, so I mean, it's got his prints on it, so I don't know what to
But
tell you.
he's clearly thinking that it could be possible for some reasons that he's not sharing.
Yeah, so he says he has to make a phone call.
We already know the body's sort of been Frankenstein, don't we? Didn't we find out earlier on that it had a different head on it or something?
It wasn't
Yeah.
actually on it; it was just sitting in the bed where the head was.
Oh,
laying.
okay. Right.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of assumed that it was all kind of different bits, but maybe I jumped too far.
That's okay. Well, I'm pretty sure that it was the body and just the head. They weren't attached at all. So,
Okay.
yeah, they were just sitting in the bed. So that's why it was sort of like, oh, it looks like this woman's dead. Oh, wait, no, that's not a woman's body.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because we first think, oh, it's very bloated.
Yeah.
But no, it was just a very bloated man.
I forgot to mention this part. So while she's calling her boss, we can see down the hall behind her and we see someone walking in. And at first I thought to myself, when I was watching it again, I thought, whenever I see a scene like this, it's the person walking towards you is usually significant, especially if it's a lone person. If it was more than one, then it's usually something you can just ignore. And we actually see that it's one of those dirty lumberjack guys.
Well, I didn't notice, and also I don't know which lumberjacks you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
don't
didn't
remember.
notice, but I do know which ones you are talking about.
We've
The
seen
ones that,
we've seen them a few times now.
yeah, Doppelkoop's group that he goes to, there's like the two of them sitting in a throne.
Oh,
and
the
he takes-
hillbillies.
Yeah, the hillbilly.
Okay,
it's
okay, sure.
it's actually not them. So we've also seen one in the prison cell that was next to that the principal.
Okay, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Do you
I'm
remember that?
surprised you didn't notice Nelly because, like, he was in frame for quite a while and just
Yeah.
sort of stands there looking.
And and when she goes back into the room where the body is, we see him walk past the door as well.
Well, I saw that, but I must have looked down and crocheted at that point, Michael.
That's like, oh well.
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
what
you
I'm
mean
here for, Nelly.
writing notes.
Yes.
We're-
Oh, writing notes. Mhm.
Yeah, totally.
These are my notes, yes.
Um,
So many notes.
all right, so we cut to Gordon whistling. So he's obviously got his hearing aid turned all the way up because Albert knocks on the door and he reacts.
Well, and it squeals at him too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
because
"Why'd you do
he's
that?"
got his hearing aid turned up so that it's like the knock is super loud. And I wrote the word "and" twice for some reason. Albert knocks on the door and comes in and they talk about the fact that Albert went and met Diane and it didn't go well. And that he then was 15 minutes away from having pneumonia afterwards because it had been raining.
It was raining a lot.
Yeah.
It was.
So Gordon then says, I guess that basically it's determined that Gordon... Oh, no, that's right. Albert says, I think it's your turn. And Gordon says, I think I'm going to need some can you come with me? And Albert says, say please. And Gordon goes, what?
What?
And Albert says, you know what I said.
I do reckon he does definitely hams it up. Not hams it up, but just pretends to get more reaction out of people, I think.
But I find it interesting that they're sort of trepidatious about being around Diane. That's fascinating to me.
I think we find out why shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't take shit, that's for sure.
I'd be scared of Diane.
Okay, so the next shot, they're arriving at Diane's apartment, and there's some person there. I don't know the relationship exactly, but they're close, I guess. She is not happy to see them. No, sirree. They want to help. Yep. She doesn't want to help.
Right, so we're at Diane's apartment already.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've missed a scene, and I don't remember what was happening in it, where I, if I hadn't been doing this with you all, would have realised that there were good and bad doppelgangers, and that's what was going on. They actually explained that for once, for the first time in the whole show.
Yes, sorry, that was
I know it wasn't important to you, but it was
that was like the police station when they were looking at Laura Palmer's diary. I skipped over all of that. I'm sorry. I thought
no, that would have been important for me if I wasn't getting spoiled on all of these things by you guys, because that's when they actually explained it.
Yeah, so they talk about
the fact that
good Cooper is stuck in the lodge and can't get
that's
out.
The first time they actually talked about it.
Yeah, and they specifically say good Cooper, and that's when.
And then for some reason I said fish ending up in his pajamas.
Oh no, that was Doc Hayward. Yeah. He was making a joke about fish in his pajamas.
Making a silly
Who was teleporting the fish, because we've already had a fish ending up places they shouldn't be in season 1.
I'm not surprised you didn't roll your eyes all the way around for that joke.
Wait,
I enjoyed it a little bit. I think
maybe I didn't get the joke.
It was a joke. He was making a pun about the fact that he was in his pajamas catching fish, and then it was pretending that the fish was in his pajamas.
Catching fish in his pajamas.
Oh.
Yes, but thank you for bringing us back to that. Yeah, I did skip over that. I know that's like going back all the way back to the beginning of the episode, but good point.
Sorry, but those were the important things that I thought were worth saying.
That was definitely important, because it is the first time that they sort of acknowledge it, and
because it was written in the diary, right?
Yeah, and also it's
the pages. Yeah. It's
also important to note, so obviously we're acknowledging just between us, Laura never actually met Dale Cooper. So, I mean, there's some gravity to this note, because she's mentioning somebody she's never met and wouldn't have known about.
Yeah.
So this is actually more like the sheriff, who wasn't involved with the case back then, is sort of like, okay, this is not just something I can dismiss. This is something. That's how I took that. I don't know about you guys. It's not just some woo woo. It's not just some woo woo. I can dismiss this.
I mean, unfortunately, it is more woo woo because they never met.
Well, it's the same amount of woo woo that we've already had. I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, we can get back to Diane's
the woo woo we know and love. If you
okay.
I love now, Katie.
See, I told you. Did I not tell you?
I said the woo woo we know and love. I didn't say the episode we know and love. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but he can edit that back into.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll just stitch your words together.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you won't.
No, I won't.
And edit, please.
Okay. So back in Diane's apartment, Albert and Gordon are trying to convince her to come and just meet with Doppelkoop. They've got a feeling that something's not right, and they want her to meet him because she knows him better than anybody. The next shot, they're in a jet. And there's a lot of fuck yous going around from Diane. I just love her character so much.
She told them to fuck off, but then she also made them a coffee. That's mixed messages. No
It
wonder
is.
she ended up in the jet.
Yep. So Temmie shows them the fingerprints, and this is the fingerprints that we saw from last episode, I believe, where she was looking at.
Yeah.
And they identify that one of the fingerprints has been reversed. So Gordon does something with Temmie's fingers where he's like saying a bunch of words and then talking about the bridge between two of the fingers being something or other. I'm just like, what?
He goes into something holistic, I think.
Well, now Gordon is psychic, and
Once-
he's reading the back of her hands somehow.
Yeah,
Like a palm reading, but
Palm
Yeah.
reading, the fingers are specific thingamabobbies.
and also Gordon's never displayed any woo-woo before at all, and now suddenly he's the one.
Are you judging him now? Are we judging
Head
Gordon? Is that what we've been hearing?
I've
I know
always
more than I
judged
have already been
Gordon.
judging
Yeah.
him for the substance of his character,
Yeah.
Or a show.
or the
Yes.
person who made the
His
show.
character and his
Who he
himself
is.
in real life. Yeah.
Where was I? They talking. Okay.
Fingerprints.
While they're sitting there talking about the fingerprints, we see a shot, and Diane is basically listening to everything that they're saying. At the prison, she gets them to agree that she'll meet with him with Doppelkoop alone, and she doesn't want anyone in the room. She wants control of everything, and they just agree to everything that she says. And the next shot we see, she's very nervous. She hasn't opened the screen yet, and she opens it, and they see each other, and they talk. And it is all. I mean, Doppelkoop just makes everything feel a bit off all the time, no matter what he
Just have to
talks
look at his
about.
Face. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just so impassive, is what I would say. What's that?
I must say, the
He was
McLaughlin.
creepy.
Yeah, he did really well at playing 3 different characters.
Mm. So you
Yeah.
still love him? Is that what I'm hearing?
Not so much now after Katie shared the other video.
But that's
You're welcome.
That's Katie ruining
that
love,
in.
ruining long loves for everyone. You know?
Yeah, I think I'll just keep him from June in my head, and then I'll be happy.
Yep. Okay. So she wants him. She's basically saying, "When was the last time we met?" And he is asking her, "Are you upset with me?" And he's saying, "It looks like you're upset with me. Or it seems like you're upset with me." She's pretty upset about the whole thing by the looks of it. So they finish the talk, and she walks out, and on the way out, Gordon tells the warden to hold Doppelkoop until he hears from him. Outside, she's very distraught and tells Gordon that's not Dale Cooper.
After telling him off for listening.
Yeah, and she hugs him crying, and he kind of does. I know there's that scene where he kind of doesn't know what to do with his hands. Everyone else is standing around awkwardly, they can clearly hear because she has to talk up so that he can hear her.
No, but this was a private conversation. That's why they walked away.
Yeah.
They're just on the other side of the car.
Private.
Cooper is getting put back in his cell and tells an officer that he needs to speak to the warden about a strawberry. We cut to Andy waiting for that guy to show up, but he doesn't. And we see a shot back at the guy's house and that the door is ajar. So the assumption is something's happened to the guy. Well, I think the implication is something.
Assumed he's dead.
Yeah, something's happened, potentially dead. Yep.
Also, Andy's just hanging out there for ages in like what is clearly mosquito territory. He would be being eaten alive.
Yeah.
They would just.
Maybe
I was
he
more
doesn't get bit.
concerned with how he had his car parked just on the road with the door open, like on a curve.
Yes. Anyone could just come around and just take it off.
I love you guys so much. So we've got someone who's like, well, the mosquitoes would be a problem here. Someone else, look how he's parked his car.
But I didn't notice like the tradie guys walking in the back or whatever, the lumberjacks.
You did well. At least you were thinking of the mosquitoes.
The mosquitoes are.
Definitely.
Sounds like someone hasn't encountered enough mosquitoes in his life.
Back at the warden's office, Cooper is led in by some officers. The officers leave him with the warden. Cooper is very cryptic, but basically is blackmailing him. We don't really find out the details, but it's
Yeah, I was about to ask whether this was something I'd missed.
no. So there were it's basically just implied there's something that the warden doesn't want anybody finding out, and Doppelkoop gives him enough information for him to believe that this is a real thing and I need to cover it up. And Doppelkoop...
He's just doing this all the time, though.
Sorry?
Just question for the viewers.
What did you
Does
say?
it actually have to do with strawberries? Huh?
Well, you don't know, do you? Maybe it is.
Am I
But you-
delayed?
No.
Just to sneak.
No, I
I
spoke over you a bit.
Okay.
So what did you say,
I
Michael?
was just
But
going to
you don't-
say, it just goes to show that, there's heaps of occasions where he just knows stuff.
Yes, he definitely knows stuff.
Yeah.
So he gives just enough information and basically gets all of lays out his demands that he's going to get let out and there be a car. But Ray, who I completely forgot is in that prison as well,
Yeah.
gets released
comes
too.
out too. Yeah.
Where was I? Okay, everyone's standing around awkwardly. Doors ajar. Okay, cut to Janie E waiting outside Cooper's office. Cooper's working, and that other colleague of his is standing in his office, desperately trying to engage in conversation.
Trying to find out what he talked to the boss about, basically.
Yeah,
And I'm guessing working out whether he's in debt. What is it? Hot
Trouble,
water.
yeah.
I'm
Deep
guessing,
doo-dah.
yeah.
Is what I thought you were going for.
Janie E. We see that outside Janie E. gets sick of waiting and heads into the office. The colleague is standing there, basically trying to, like what you said, Nelly, trying to find out what the boss and Cooper were talking about. The woman / I don't know what her role is, but she enters Cooper's office and tells him
Toilet door opener.
That's right, toilet woman.
Important role.
That sounds so wrong.
It's not as
Yeah,
wrong as
I
what
don't
she was
love it.
suggesting they do in the ladies.
True.
Yeah.
Or should we call it toilet flirting woman? Because technically she did flirt with him. Anyway,
It was more than flirt.
Less.
It was toilet proposition woman.
so she says there are police wanting to see Cooper. They come to his office and it's about his car. So Janie arrives
And his
asking.
colleague hightails it out as soon as he hears police.
Yeah, he's like, I got to make a phone call. I'll be okay. Enjoy.
Yep.
Bye.
Right.
So Janie arrives asking what's it all about. She basically drives the whole conversation. And I love this character so much because whenever she's in the room, she is in control of what's happening.
Oh, yeah. And she's telling them
Plot
all how
moves.
it's going to be. Yes, the plot does move, Sean. You're right.
Where was I? I've lost myself again. Sorry. So yeah, she drives the conversation telling him his car's missing and they're like, oh, why haven't you reported it missing? Or where was it? And they're like, well, if we knew where it was, it wouldn't be bloody missing, would it?
And I love it how Cooper's just repeating some of the words she says and he's like, missing.
Yeah.
Like, car.
Passing as normal, apparently.
Yeah.
Yep. Eventually they admit that because of his boss who's in there, who sort of figures out you're here because you found the car, right? And they're like, yeah, we found the car. They agree to go and meet with the police later on to fill out some forms or whatever. Janie E and Cooper leave, and downstairs she's telling him all about how she met with those guys and paid the money, and if only you hadn't wasted the money, or you just think of what we could have bought. We could have bought you a new car or something. And when they're outside the building, the little person is there with a gun and rushes at Cooper, but no, sirree.
Cooper? No.
He
Part of him pops up.
autopilot.
This is part
Not
of
the
the
brain.
thing that made me not hate the episode too. It was him like coming back to himself.
Except that then he wasn't, but at least his physical
Yeah.
body was.
Yeah.
Instincts kicked in.
Yep, that's
It gave
right.
me hope.
Yeah.
And then it destroyed that hope.
So Cooper intercepts him, and the gunshot happens and everything, but it doesn't hit anyone. While Cooper is holding him down, the fleshy tree thing, which is
Yeah.
one arm man's arm, appears
Just
and
squeeze
says,
his hand off.
squeeze his hand off. That's what it says. Yeah, exactly. the next shot, so the guy eventually gets away and runs off. Next shot we see, it's like the news interviewing people. So we got Janie talking about how amazing Cooper was, and other people saying, "Oh, he was like a blur. He was so fast, I didn't even see it." And then we see a shot of some skin is stuck to the gun grip.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah, I thought he hadn't squeezed his hand off, but then after I saw that, I was like, "Oh, maybe you did."
Yep,
you did. Yep.
It's got a lot of strength.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
We cut over to the Great Northern Hotel, and Benjamin is with his assistant, whose name I can't remember.
Ben.
It's Benjamin. Beverly. Is it Beverly? Is that her name?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it was. Yep, because I looked it up. I was trying to figure out if I knew that actor.
She definitely looks
Which you
familiar.
did, yeah.
I've definitely seen her in things. They're talking about a humming noise coming from somewhere in the room, and every time they sort of identify it's coming from over there, they'll go over there and they'll say, "Now it's coming from over there," and so they do it twice. And during this conversation, the assistant shows Benjamin the key to that got sent back to the hotel that Jade sent back.
Oh, yeah.
And he sort of marvels at they haven't even had these keys for like 20-something years. And then he remembers, oh, this is Agent Cooper's room. And then there's a moment towards the end of this conversation where I thought, is something going to happen here? But nothing happens. And I wrote here, Benjamin has changed.
Yeah, he's
a changed
all
man.
over.
Yeah.
He got hit in the head by Doc Hayworth.
He's not the same person anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. And it just goes to show people can change on TV anyway. Okay, so
brain injury.
Sort of don't get how the key's going to be relevant. Like just trying to think about where that's going and the fact that it got sent back. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe we're going to see the giant again.
Well, being a person who already knows the answer to that question, I will say, stay tuned.
Yeah, like we've had several scenes setting this up now.
Cooper's still
active,
out and about.
Yeah. I reckon we're going to
nobody's
see
seen him, right?
But nobody in Twin Peaks, that's for sure.
But we're going to see the giant, and I reckon maybe Jodie in the doorknob.
Haven't we already seen the giant?
Yeah, we've seen the giant.
Yeah, I think it was right at the start.
Yeah.
But no, nothing recent.
I want an explanation for Josie in the doorknob.
Yeah.
In the
okay.
Draw knob, whatever you want to call it.
I look forward to that happening. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that bit is explained. I reckon that's one of those.
I'm going to be
pissed. Yeah.
There, Benjamin's assistant, Beverly, arrives home, and a carer is leaving her house and saying, "Oh, he had a rough day. He hasn't eaten." And apparently, the person they're talking about is her husband. And he basically gives her the third degree about why she's so late home from work, and they have a bit of an argument. He's unwell. They don't really go into why, but
do we know her husband? Because I initially thought it was Leo.
No, we do not.
Who was Leo?
I don't know why I thought it was Leo.
Oh, that Leo. Yeah.
I
mean, Leo's still sitting in a cabin with spiders about to drop on his head.
Yeah.
We know.
25 years later.
I should probably look that up, see if that actor was alive still when they filmed this. That might be why he's not
They
back.
just wanted us to keep thinking about the spiders forever.
Or maybe they were just like, don't know what we're going to do with that. I think we'll just leave it out.
No one will ever want resolution on that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever want to know what happened.
Don't tell me they don't resolve every story, Ben, because that would be disappointing.
Oh, wouldn't it just?
He's totally not still having nightmares about those spiders. She just wants it resolved.
Seriously, I just need to know what happened. Please.
I need to know where those spiders are right now.
Yeah.
We cut to the bar, in which we see someone sweeping for an extended period. And I wrote...
And we get excited about it being the end of the episode, and then disappointed again.
I wrote here...
No, there was no band playing.
I know that nothing happened... Well, nothing significant happens here, but I actually found this cathartic, just because watching the room slowly get cleaner and cleaner until I noticed there were two spots that he missed, and I was like, this is no longer cathartic.
Yeah, that's really itching my OCD tendencies. Like, he's missing bits.
There are parts of this show every week where I am fighting to stay awake.
Anyway.
Are you saying this was one of them,
Meanwhile-
Michael?
Not during the sweeping.
No, I
part.
was over it by then. It was actually during all the Diane stuff where I was struggling. At
Really?
the end of that Diane, I thought, oh, that was 15 minutes. At the end of which they realise Cooper's not really himself.
Cooper, yeah.
Surprise.
They needed Diane to figure that out, did they?
So,
Yeah.
okay.
I
That's
did wonder why
confirmation.
she was the one to have to do it, and how if no one
She
else
had to
is figuring it
transcribe
out,
like
how
years
did
of
she?
voice memos.
Yeah, I guess. But she didn't want to go see him to begin with either.
okay, I just want to remind you as well that when Diane was talking to him, he said the last time they saw each other was at her house. So he went to her house. Doppelkoop went to her house.
Yeah, and that's what the other guy wants to know about at the end when she
Yeah, is there anything I need to
looks
know
at him
about?
again.
And she says,
Yeah.
I'll tell you soon.
Okay.
And does she, or is this just another red herring?
She'll tell him in another 25 years.
Excellent. I can't wait to not ever.
Depending on
see
which
that.
actors have survived.
So back in the sweeping bar, very exciting scene. Phone rings and the guy at the bar, and it is the same actor who played Jacques Renault, aka Lip Licker. Answers it. Thank you. You're welcome.
Didn't the lip licker get the pillow suffocated? He was the lip licker got
Yeah.
suffocated
Yeah, that's
with the pillow.
him.
Or this is the brother.
This is the brother, you mean?
I couldn't remember, but
Maybe this is
It's
the
not-
same
it's
actor
not
playing
him.
one of the brothers, because
The
they said
same
it had been in
actor
the.
playing one of them.
Oh,
They
okay.
said that the bar had been in the Renault family for a long time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the Lip Licker. He has a
But
beard, so I
I'm
couldn't check his
pretty
lips.
sure
Sorry.
dead.
I couldn't check how moist
Okay.
his lips
Playing a
were.
different character.
Alright.
I assumed.
And I put
what's
a
the
note.
point of all this higher resolution in the
I
newer
know,
version if you can't figure out what his lips are moist?
I put apparently he's sending sex workers and is as detestable as his new character. And I put after that he's been typecast.
Yeah.
At the prison, it's night, and Doppelkoop's cell door opens, then Ray's. They both leave the prison escorted by an officer. The warden has delivered on everything they asked for. They drive away.
So
And
many people help them out the door. There's like 3 extra people.
Yep,
Yeah.
And I
That was
can't.
just great.
Anyway.
I'm surprised by
Mm.
how many
Yeah.
guards are helping.
yep. No one knows.
Hmm.
Um,
Apparently, there's
I-
multiple corrupt guards in this prison. Who knew?
Yeah, it feels like this happens a lot.
Hey, just about those 2 sex workers, Sean said at one point, oh, didn't they mention those earlier? And I couldn't quite remember, but I remember you saying that.
Yeah, so they mentioned that in one of the early episodes where there were a bunch of cops in Twin Peaks, they were talking about some teenagers that had been murdered.
Oh,
I
Um,
know that they were talking about the kid who had an overdose at school. I don't remember that one,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't doubt that it happened. Yeah, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and check it. 'Cause I think
Yeah,
the scene you're talking
well-
about is the first scene where we see the operations room and Detective Truman
Yeah,
goes. Sorry,
yeah,
Sheriff
and-
Truman goes in there and he
there's, like,
talks with the
Chet or
dispatch
Chad or
woman.
whoever.
Yeah. I think that is the scene where they talk about it. I think you're right, Sean.
So I was wondering if they were the same people.
Possibly. Oh yeah, and Jacques Renault / whatever the new character's name is, mentions about how they were A grade or I don't remember. He's talking about some A class or something. Sex workers, but yeah. Okay, so next shot we see is just some woods, real great shot, and then we cut to Norma's diner. Someone rushes in asking if anyone has seen Billy, and then rushes out, and then the episode
I'm
ends.
sure it was important.
And are you disappointed that we didn't end on a musical number?
No.
Was it Billy Zane they were after?
Maybe.
yeah. We don't know a Billy, right?
Don't we?
I don't think so.
Do
We
not
used
know
to
Billy?
get confused between Bobby and
Bobby.
Billy, but that was
Yeah, that
incorrect.
was mainly me.
I couldn't think of a Billy,
Oh, it was also.
Yeah. Okay.
which doesn't mean there wasn't, but I couldn't remember one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know of one. Sorry.
I'll be honest, Ben. I was a little disappointed there wasn't a band playing at the end because that is how I know the episode is ending, except for the one episode where it tricked us.
Oh yeah, so there's the so this episode one of the earlier episodes, I mentioned about how Jerry was lost in the woods. This is actually the episode where he's lost in the woods. I'm sorry that I spoiled it for you guys.
Oh, no.
Yes, I
I
found
don't even
that.
remember you saying that.
So you picked up on that bit.
Honest you
I
can.
know I ruined the show. I'm so sorry.
I don't care about Jerry's storyline at all. I do
No.
not see how it's going to be relevant.
I've
Although I
always
guess he's the
found
boss,
Benjamin.
maybe he's going to end up at the lodge.
Yeah, I've always found Benjamin and Jerry very annoying, and I never cared about pretty much anything that they did in the show.
What about when he was
I've always found
reenacting
Ben
Civil
really
War?
annoying. I don't know about Benjamin. The Civil War was my favorite part. How dare you? That was my favorite Benjamin.
That's the only part that made sense to her.
It just made me laugh.
So, how are you guys feeling about the show? Because there's a lot that happened in this episode.
Quite a lot happened, especially in the first 10 minutes.
Definitely.
Mm.
It was a better episode, apart from the sleeping.
It was better, but I thought Dale was coming back to himself when he had the action scene, and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
He's starting to.
And then it was just an action scene
Yeah.
for no reason.
So,
I feel like we're getting closer to that, which is why I didn't hate this episode.
So the fact that they dug more into what happened at the end of season 2 was interesting because they didn't
the diary.
really discuss it up to this point.
Yeah.
But next episode is
There was a scene.
You mean
I
8
don't know
hours later?
Why? Oh, what was it? Someone
It's a good
was
question.
talking to
Katie,
someone
why?
and didn't. And someone mentioned, no, it was Beverly and Benjamin. Laura Palmer got mentioned and she went, who's that? As if everybody in that town does not know what happened to Laura Palmer, regardless of
Yeah.
it being 20
Well,
years later. It was like
it's
the
25
biggest
years,
thing
but
that
yeah.
happened.
But she might be new to town or something, you know? Wow, that's real
Yeah, but
nice.
still. Yeah, that was not for the viewers, everyone. That
No,
was for
she hates you.
Benjamin, not
I
Paul.
I got a bit excited that Benjamin's assistant was Audrey come back, but it wasn't Audrey.
I thought so as well for a second. I was like, nah, surely I'd recognize Audrey and not be like,
Yeah.
is that Audrey?
Okay,
Who
so
knows?
just the next episode, I have told you guys that this is a bit of a lore episode and that,
We might struggle.
yes.
So I
you-
should watch it after Minor.
Yes.
Yeah, you shouldn't be tired when you're watching this one, Michael.
So that leaves, what,
I
10
will
a.m.
not be
Saturday?
watching this one alone.
Yeah.
Someone wants to watch
Will
it
there
with
be
me.
owls?
Oh, you'll see. You'll see. But yes, hopefully there will be questions answered, or maybe not. We'll see. Or you will definitely have questions. I can guarantee that you are definitely going to want to ask me questions. So looking forward to that discussion.
That you're not going to answer.
We'll see.
He's going to say, that's a nice question.
Yeah, it depends on the
Good
question.
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
You guys have been asking about some other characters. You know, we'll see what happens with them. So, or if they're going to show, yeah, you'll see. But that's
Well, you
going to be
kind
it.
of alluded to Leo not returning.
I did. Yes.
You already spoiled stuff for us,
I
Ben.
can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't believe I did.
So
that.
disappointed.
Right.
Which
the
I'm
whole
not
show.
going to lie is a little disappointing that he's not coming back because I just need some resolution.
So hold on. If Leo
Yeah,
was
the
back,
spiders.
what would you want his storyline to be?
Oh, I just need to know if the spiders killed him, if he's still sitting in the cabin. If he's just a skull.
Would
sitting
you
in the
want
cabin
like
still,
he's
or
still
spiders?
harassing
Like an
Shelley or
occupational
something?
therapist.
Yeah.
Can he be jailed?
He sells
I don't
that
want anything good
Self-help
to happen
books.
to him.
Yeah.
But I
the hoist.
I just need to know if he died from spiders. Or if he
Okay.
escaped. I
There's
just need to
probably
know.
fanfic about that.
Yeah. Maybe no one ever found him. Well, they found his skeleton
Her-
years later, but no one knew who it was by that stage.
To the villain of
I just
season
hope
2,
they
did
found
they
spider
actually
skeletons
die?
too.
Yes, he died in the lodge.
Died
Wyndham.
in the lodge. How did he die?
Bob killed him because
What happened to his
he
body?
tried to do something that he wasn't permitted to do in the lodge. Because he wanted to take
Lodge has very
Cooper's
rules
soul,
that are on the wall.
but Bob turned up and
that's
said,
right,
"No,
I
you
remember.
don't have the power to do that," and killed him.
Yeah.
But cool. All right. Look forward to your
Does that
notes.
mean his physical body is in the
I
lodge?
presume his
Or is
physical
his
body would have
physical
died as
body
well.
somewhere else?
Well, I would say his physical body was in the lodge because Dale Cooper's physical body was in
We
the
don't ever
lodge.
see. Because I guess in my head it was always.
Their soul
don't
or
know.
something, yeah? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or
I thought it was their soul in the
some
lodge,
sort of
not
psych
physical bodies.
thing.
Mm.
Yeah, but we never see a body otherwise. Yeah. Dunno.
Can't wait to hear what your thoughts on episode 8 are. Really excited to hear your thoughts. But that's it for now. Thank you very much, guys. I actually have a little bit of a backlog editing these episodes, so they're probably going to come out pretty
You
quick
definitely
succession. Look forward to that internet who I am now talking to in the future. Okay. Until next time. See ya.
Bye.